Testing. Testing, testing. 1, 2, 3. Check. Asparagus. Testing 1, 2, 3.
Okay. Okay.
Hello everybody, and welcome to Henry's Kitchen, where today we're going to be making sushi. We're going to be making insanely good tuna and avocado roll.
Okay.
Thanks, Beelzebub. Sushi's a great thing that you can make at home. It's obviously better in a restaurant, but if you're, not into going out in public, thanks Hacklin, just subscribed. Then this is a great thing that you can do to impress yourself. Or I once made it for a lady, and you have varying results, but you can make it for somebody that you're interested in romantically, or you can just make it for yourself on a Saturday night. So let's get into some of the history here of sushi. Sushi is a Japanese dish, prepared vinegared rice, usually with some sugar and salt, accompanied by a variety of ingredients such as seafood, often raw. Today we're not going to be using raw seafood because, it's a little tough on the stomach sometimes. So we're going to be using Wild Planet tuna, which is, I believe, cooked already, pre-cooked. So, the inventor of modern sushi is believed to be Hanaya Yohei, who invented nigiri sushi, a type of sushi most known today, in which seafood is placed on hand-pressed vinaigrette rice. Around 1824, in the Edo period from 1603 to 1867, it was the fast food of the Chonin class in the Edo period. Sushi is one of the most popular dishes that there is in the world, and this is a lot of shit to read, so I don't want to go through all of it, but I'm just going to kind of skip. Vinegar began to be added to the preparation of narazushi in the Muromachi period in 1336 for the sake of enhancing both taste and preservation. It was not until the Edo period, 1603, that fresh fish was served over vinegared rice. It's basically fish and rice. I don't know when they started rolling it, but we're going to get into showing you how to do it. So maybe before we get into it, I could go into some of your questions. Delph295 asks, is it Nigerian sushi? No,
Okay.
I don't think so, but it does sound similar. Shane Yes says, where's the girl from Match.com? Oh yeah, that's where I met her. I met this girl on the internet, and I believe the video's out there. I tried to make sushi for her, but there was an age difference, and that was probably most of the problem. But Silly Sergey says, hey Henry, I'm currently using a tuna I caught today for the meal. I don't know how to gut this. I just throw it in with the whole bits. Just try to find the parts that look like they're, you know, outside meat parts, but I would definitely cook them. I'm not going to be using the oven today. I don't need to do any cooking, if I'm not mistaken. So it's a nice little break for the summer. I don't have to have a hot oven going. And hopefully that's the case with you guys too. Let's see here.
Okay.
Kiraslavius, hey, I hope the food will be good because today the nurse told me I can watch the whole stream before taking insane pills. Okay, so they're, sounds like they're on some medication there. Yeah, okay. Hacklin says, I don't have any rice, only quinoa. Can I use that? I would imagine so. Samaritan, but maybe just turn it on in case you never know. Oh, with the oven, yes. It's always a good idea to have your oven preheating at all times in case you need it, because the last thing you want to do is be in the middle of a recipe and in the middle it says put it in the oven for 20 minutes and then you have to wait to preheat it. Better to always leave it on, preheated, anytime you're cooking or even if you're not cooking. So a real quick break here to say thank you to a couple of nice people who are subscribing. Jolly Austin, Original Pancake, Soon Sulu, Steven 909, Super Potatoes 1989, Hacklin, Beelzebub, Eps Ray, Fawcan, Niner, Martian Assassin. Okay, let's get into making some sushi. All right, so we've got some carrots, which are pretty standard. In terms of the fillings, a lot of them are optional, but there's some that keep coming up in sushi recipes. Carrots, some type of fish. Remember when we made the Big Mac, there was a special sauce that you get from mixing Thousand Island with mayo. We're going to be using that same sauce because surprisingly it's actually the same sauce that they use when they're doing sushi. You can see if we go to what we're going to end up with here today, that's our sushi. And you can see it's got some of that special sauce on there. It's no secret. We've already even gone over it. So there you have it. By the way, if you want to take a quick peek at my cat roast beef, looks like he's doing some sleeping. We'll be waking him up when we start doing music in a little bit. I've got a couple of requests from you guys on the Discord, so I'm going to try to get to those. But, almost forgot the star of our show, which is the rice, which I already had cooking because I didn't want to waste your time cooking rice. So I'm gonna put this into a bowl. You're gonna use a lot of bowls and a lot of plates for this. Let's get a nice organized sort of a platform for all of our ingredients. This is the sushi. I'm using a regular, the rice. I'm using a regular white rice. You can use brown rice or any kind of rice. Legally, according to the Wikipedia, all it is rice and seafood, and I think the seaweed, which I have here as well, that constitutes a legal sushi. Okay, there we go. Oh, and then the other thing you're gonna want, which I believe I have somewhere, Oh yeah.
Okay.
You're gonna want some chopsticks. It's very weird to be eating these with a fork, but you can do it. Okay, so the ingredients we have our guacamole, we have our carrots, our rice, Thousand Island mayo, as well as our package of seaweed that we're gonna wrap it all up in. Pretty much every culture has some variety of wrapping up rice and meat into some item. You know, in India it's naan. If in, I guess in South America it would be a tortilla. In America it would be just a piece of bread. But I don't know if you've got your coffee, but it's a very important part of it. Okay. See if there's any other questions coming in.
Okay.
Everyone, okay, yeah. Everyone type Forson says, can I use Rice Krispies if I don't have rice, Henry? Rice Krispies are actually made from rice, if I'm not mistaken. I think it's just deep fried rice, so I guess that would probably work. I think that's called tempura, which is deep fried Japanese food. Can I substitute seaweed with weed? That was Sir Specs. Possibly. Let's see here. Okay, so Jacoby says, I don't have time to cook rice to cook along with you. Will raw rice work without the dish? You know, it takes probably only about 20 minutes, 25 minutes to cook rice. I would suggest it because it'll get softer. Eating raw rice is perfectly healthy, but it's very difficult. But maybe you could just soak it in water for a little bit. Azure Skies says, I once saw sushi served on a conveyor belt. Do you think conveyor belts represent the downfall of society since they emphasize quantity over quality? Conveyor belts, I believe, originated sometime in the mid 20th century. And yes, there's automatic food service places that would have your food be delivered to you on a conveyor belt. I went to one in Florida. Is it the downfall of society? You know, that's a pretty deep question. Is it a horseman of the apocalypse? I don't know. I mean, I'm not a technophobe myself. I actually think conveyor belts are probably better for people that don't want to talk to a server. If there was a way that you could just go in and not talk to any human being, some people prefer that. All right, so let's go ahead and get into our first step, which is going to be cutting open our guacamole, which it's an avocado. I do that a lot because this is what you use to make guacamole, so I get them mixed up. So let's clear out our area, and let's get a bowl actually. I have a knife somewhere. Jeez. Come on. Oh, here it is. I guess I was using it for the... You want to get it started like that. And ideally you're just going to start peeling the skin off the same way that you would an orange. If you have a nice ripe one like this, it shouldn't be too difficult. You know, we were talking about this date that I had several years ago, and it occurred to me in my younger days I had a strategy when it came to the ladies where I would try to play hard to get. And I remember being out one night at a club or something like that, and I met a girl, and you know, we talked a bit, and I gave her my phone number and told her to give me a call, and then she called me the next day, and I figured I'd play hard to get, and she said, "Hi, this is Michelle. I met you last night." And I said, "Michelle, sorry, I don't think I know any Michelle." And she's like, "No, it's Michelle. You gave me your number. We talked. What are you talking about? You don't remember?" And I said, "I don't know any Michelle. I don't know who this is." And she said, "You gave me your number. I'm calling you." And she sounded angry, and I said, "Look, I don't know if this is some kind of scam or a joke or whatever, but if you call one more time, I'm going to call the police." And she hung up angrily. And I don't know whatever happened to her, but I hope she's good. All right, so this is the nut right here in the middle. We want to get rid of that. But here we go. So we've got a pretty nicely peeled guacamole or avocado. Got a little more here that we can get. I like to put my shell casings into the purple bowl, but you can put them right in the trash if you want. Okay. Gonna wash my hands. We're gonna be definitely getting messy hands today. That's one of the things about sushi. I like to have a paper towel on standby. Okay, so we've got this. Let's go ahead and just cut that up into something. This is going to go into our sushi, so we want to make sure it's sort of finely cut. It's very easy to cut into. You don't need a sharp knife, so you don't have to worry about cutting yourself. Okay, that's our avocado, and we're going to put that right there. Now let's get into our carrots. I pre-wash these because I don't want to get, you know, when you buy them at the supermarket or whatever, there's people pick them up and look at them and get their dirty hands all over them and then put them back.
Okay.
Or at least that's what I do. Okay, there's a few people here that we want to thank. Raver, Ace, Wrath Malfoy, Death by Fugu, Xana Bilek, Ash Wednesday 42, Rolf Mayfoyle 1992,
Okay.
Lotley, Jolly Austin, and I think Original Pancake is where we left off there. So we're probably going to need to get this carrot a little finer. You can take the nubs and just toss them aside. But for now, this should be decent. Monove or Monoful says, "Can I substitute rice for filet mignon?" Sure. Filet mignon's better and it's more high quality. Do you mean for sushi? I don't know. But, okay, got another nub there. Let's cast that aside. I'm going to cut these again sideways or horizontally. These are going to fit very nicely into our sushis. Wait. Ow. Yeah, if I were using a sharp knife right now, I'd be completely fucked.
Oh, hi.
Oh, Alexotos is rating us with a party of 325. Thanks, Alexotos, and welcome. If you're just joining us now, we are making sushi. Not for a lady, but just for ourselves, or maybe some people are making it for a loved one. But you want to cut up the carrots. All right, so we've got our carrots, our avocado, and our rice, which means that it is time to pull out our roast beef board and take out our nori. Roast beef, by the way, is my cat, in case anybody is not familiar. Sleeping very well, but we're going to do some music in a little bit, and that's going to wake him up. Thanks, Revere. Okay. Here's our nori. It's actually kind of difficult to get just one of them. I would think that you could probably double up on them if you wanted to. I guess that'd be called a double wrap.
Okay.
Lygos 96. Thanks for joining us. Okay. Well, let's elite attack ferret. Sorry, I have a little bit of an OCD thing where every time I see one of those notifications about somebody subscribing, I have to say it. But I know it's probably better to just do them all in one sitting because I don't want to get distracted with what we're doing here. So if anybody's just joining us, this is what we are making. We are making delicious tuna and avocado roll in the tradition of traditional Nigiri sushi, not to be confused with Nigerian, which is a question that we had from somebody. I don't know. I think that's just a coincidence. Clotho Boer says, Henry, when am I supposed to dump all this in boiling oil and cover it in melted chocolate? This is not a dessert dish, guys. A lot of people having trouble here. Hacklin says, I don't know how to cook quinoa. Just put it in water and boil it for about 20 minutes. And then you want to use a colander to get the water out after the fact. Bamboo Gino says, have you ever replaced seaweed with green tea dough? It's nice. I'm not sure. Okay, Epps Ray says, I think should the nori be baked first? Seems dry. I don't think so. No, I think this is what you do. So let's go ahead and get started. The first thing we're going to do is we're going to grab our rice just with your hands, and we're going to place it in the middle of our nori and shape it into sort of a log that goes all the way across. This rice is a little bit hot. You can really smell the seaweed. It's a very fishy smell, but when it mixes with all the fine ingredients, it gets sort of diluted. All right. So we have here a pretty tight log of rice on top of our nori wrap. You want it to be end to end, because if you don't, you're going to have one piece of sushi that doesn't have any rice on it. And I suggest doing this over not only the one board, but also another cutting board just for easy cleanup. And you're going to have some runoff of some of the ingredients, and if you don't want to waste that food, you could just use it for your plants or whatever. Okay, so I've got some sticky situation here. I'm going to rinse my hands. And let's start putting in some of our other ingredients. Got this stuff. It's pretty slippery. Gonna make sort of a wall, I guess, of guacamole on the sides. It doesn't really matter how you place it because we're going to roll it up and it's all going to be just sort of in there. So might as well entertain yourself and try to make it look cool. And put some carrot along this top here, and maybe we could, that's pretty nice. I'd say if we compare what we've got to what we're going for, we're ending up with very similar colors. So here we go. Now this is the very, very difficult part, and it's rolling. But it's doable. You just have to be very careful. It takes a lot of Japanese sushi chefs years and years to master what I'm doing right now. You want to tuck it underneath like so. Make sure it's nice and tight. Okay. It should sort of, the seal should sort of stick. Okay. All right. There is a little bit of a hole there. Might have stuffed it a little too much, but for our purposes, I think that's going to be okay. You know what? I'm going to just take a little bit of water in a glass, and I'm going to use it as sort of a makeshift adhesive along the side so that it sticks a little better. That's pretty good. Okay, so we've got, like I said, we've got some runoff. Next thing we are going to be doing, and I'm going to try to zoom in for this, we're going to cut this into sushis. So, actually I'm going to start in the middle because this is a problem that I had before. It tends to come apart. Okay, we have a pretty nice one here, and then this one's falling apart a little bit. If it does, then just tighten it back up again. Let's give it another cut. So you want to cut in half, and then you want to cut the halves in half. This part's behaving nicely. And if it doesn't come out perfect, you're still going to have all the ingredients, so it's still basically sushi. Let's lay these out on a plate. These are going to take a little TLC. I'm going to try to back up a little bit here. I'm wondering if maybe the carrots are sort of the culprit here. Also, make sure you cut all the way through, because if they stick, it's going to be problematic. Okay. This is turning a little messy. I'm going to try another one, and we're going to try to do it better. So I'm going to take another sheet of our nori, and you know what I'm going to do? I'm going to use twice as many. I'm going to use 2 of these. That way it won't break apart. Thank you, Broken Arrow. And
oh, hi.
see you in the meantime. All right, Nam is rating us with 56 people. Thanks, Nam, and thanks for joining us. If anybody wants to, if you're just joining us, we are making delicious and insanely good avocado and carrot and tuna roll in the tradition of traditional Nigiri sushi. And we are currently in the process of starting all over with another one. We did one earlier, but I think I overstuffed it and it didn't come out quite right. So if you're watching closely, we're going to use rice. I used too much rice last time, so this time we're going to use a lot less because we want a nice tight log. And then we want it to cut better. That's pretty good. We're gonna add in our guacamoles, or avocados, I'm sorry. I'm from California, so it's hard for me to remember that most people refer to this as an avocado. And we're gonna add in our carrots on the sides. This one's probably gonna turn out better because we didn't use quite as much filling. All right, here we go. So now we're gonna get it nice and tight. Take both of our nori. I double packed it. Oh, Archmage Kale says, "Where's the tuna?" You are absolutely right. I can't believe I forgot to put the tuna. That was pretty stupid on my part. Oh, that's really difficult. Oh, man. Well, okay, so we've got our tuna here. I'm gonna try to put some in here, but I don't want to overstuff our situation, so let's just see what we can do. I'm gonna cut it a little bit. That's not so bad, and it actually is gonna give us a little bit of protein, and it's gonna smell even more like authentic fish. Okay, so let's go ahead and do this. This is you know, I mean, Japanese cooking is not my forte, if you will. So I'm not doing this quite as professionally as a lot of the sushi chefs you'll see around restaurants and stuff. But I think this was a pretty good roll right there. Take a little bit of water and line the edges to form sort of an adhesive, if you will. And there you have it. And now we're gonna cut. I'm gonna use a sharper knife because last time, just a little bit about me. I have a philosophy about the kitchen. There's a lot of very unsafe things that can happen. You can burn yourself. There can be explosions. If you're standing near, if you're deep frying something and there's hot oil, it can scar your face for life. If you're using sharp objects, which a lot of people like to do in the kitchen, you can harm yourself or a loved one, or worse yet, a child. There's no kind of food that you could eat that's gonna be so delicious that it's worth potentially harming yourself or a loved one over, except for maybe some types of cake, but overall, you want to keep things safe. So I'm going to do the best I can. I'm going to use a sharper knife, but it's not going to be a ridiculously sharp knife because I don't want to hurt myself, and I don't think you should hurt yourself. Life's too short. I have a cut from the last time I was doing this. Okay, so we're going to use, I think this is called a paring knife. First off, you're going to want to go right in the front, or in the middle, to get the center of gravity so that it doesn't all completely get messed up on you. That was pretty good. And then we're going to cut the halves in half. So yeah, this is a much better result than what we had the first time. And that happens in the kitchen. A lot of times you can't be afraid to have it come out poorly the first time, and then on the second attempt it comes out better. This is an interesting story that I remember my teacher told me when I was in high school, that there was a Swedish pharmaceutical company that was trying to develop a cure for testicular cancer. And during the tests, they found out that the men that were subjects that they were testing it on were getting aroused during the test, and that drug that they made actually wound up not being effective for testicular cancer, but it actually became what we know now as Viagra, which is a male performance enhancement drug. So it's interesting that they set out to do one thing and they completely changed course. Okay, so these are nice. These are tight sushis. A little bit more like the traditional sushi that you'd be used to seeing in a restaurant. They're going to be delicious. The next thing that we're going to do, why don't we set those aside for a second? And I do have a couple of song requests that people have put forward to me. And if you want to check out the Discord, that's the place to suggest recipes. And there's been some really cool memes being posted. Thanks, Crash Fort. And there's been some fan art and recipe suggestions, but also music suggestions. So I want to do that right now.
Okay.
There's been one suggestion that keeps coming up. Thanks, Mophead Four Eyes. It keeps coming up, and I don't know why. It sounds like people want me to do this song particularly because it's kind of depressing. But it's called Hurt by Johnny Cash or Nine Inch Nails. So this goes out to Novo and Cindy, who've asked for this song. I'm going to have to pull up the lyrics here.
Okay.
But thanks, I like my pixels. Here we go. This one's a little bit of a downer for a Sunday afternoon, but I like to please. I hurt myself today to see if I still feel. I focus on the pain, the only thing that's real. The needle tears a hole, the old familiar sting. I kind of fucked a lot of that up, but hopefully that was somewhere near the actual song. Another request for a song which is a little bit of an unusual one for me because it's a female perspective, but this goes out to Kairosa. It's Torn by Natalie Arugula, and it's sung from the perspective of a young female, so I'm just going to switch the gender where possible.
Okay.
I thought this is going to be hard without changing the key. I thought I saw a woman brought to life. She was warm, she came around, and she was dignified. She showed me what it was to cry. Well, you couldn't be that woman I adored. You don't seem to know, don't seem to care what your heart is for. But there's nothing where she used to lie. My conversation has run dry. That's what's going on. Nothing's fine, I'm torn. I'm all out of faith. This is how I feel. I'm cold and I'm ashamed, lying naked on the floor. Illusion never changed into something real. I'm wide awake and I can see the perfect sky is torn. You're a little late, I'm already torn. Okay, so that goes out to Kairosa. Maybe I'll go ahead and just do one more song. This one's from Jose Suicidio, and it's sort of a big hit. And I'm just gonna do a couple of verses because I know that this one bums people out as well. Help me make it through the night, 'cause I am tired and alone. Help me make it through the night, 'cause I don't like myself anymore. I guess I'm just not interesting. I have no personality. I met a guy with cancer and he felt sorry for me. I'm always coming in last place and getting sand kicked in my face, and I guess that's just the way it meant to be. We'll check in on roast beef here. Help me make it through the night. He's not waking up. I hope he's still with us, 'cause I am tired and alone. He's a very old cat. Help me make it through the night, 'cause I don't... I think my camera ran out of battery there. 'Cause I don't like myself. Okay, there you have that. That's a Jose Suicidio from the album Let's Get Suicidal, which is a holiday album. Came out several years ago. And I'm gonna have to fix my camera here because unfortunately I have another battery. I don't want you guys to miss the money or the ending here of our dish, so let's make sure this works. Technically things are still a little bit of a mess, but Okay, so we're gonna go ahead and top off our sushi with some sauce. First, I want to say some very special thank yous to a lot of wonderful people. I started doing Twitch a few months ago, and people have come out of the woodwork to help me along. And first, I want to start with people who volunteered to moderate. That's Dingo Bop, Fawcan, Dom Beef, Hottest Bear, Do Dingle, Dog Goggy, and Dr. Flanges. Also, special thanks to Bacchus, Daisy Blossom, Melon 95, and Pilskman, who've been active in various ways as well. I want to thank someone named Sir Doom, who introduced me to Bumblevision and the LGX, who are both streamers who've become friends, and they've been very helpful getting me into this. Also, my friend Bill Larkin, who has Bill Larkin Music, just an old friend of mine who's an amazing musician and improvises songs, and that's a lot of fun. Also, I don't know if you noticed that when I go back and forth from one scene to another, the transition is the similar one to the YouTube videos that I was doing, and that just blows my mind. And that's from a user named Quanto, who did that for me, and it's amazing, and it's done a lot of other things. So thank you, Quanto. And by the way, when I say user, I mean someone who uses Twitch, not like a user of drugs or something, although that could be the case as well, I'm not sure. But couple of people who major streamers who've turned people on to my stuff would be Moon Moon and Forsen and XQC, but no stream of mine would be complete if I didn't say a special thanks to Nim, who had me on his stream back in almost a year ago, and I taught him how to make a peanut butter and jelly sandwich, and he talked me into getting my own Twitch channel, and here we are. You know, we're making food and we're doing it live, and as much as I like making YouTube videos, the live element gives me a level of interaction with human beings that I'm just overwhelmed by, because I don't really get a lot of that in my life. So I think I mentioned everybody, and again, if you want to join the Discord, that's a fun way to request songs or to just generally post anything that you want that's Henry's Kitchen related or not. So let's see how we're doing. We've got our sushi. Well, that's our goal sushi. We've got this, which obviously it's not as pretty, but it is made of the same ingredients, and it's going to taste similar. Let's put this aside for a second. Grab another bowl. Maybe we can use our avocado bowl. Dump this out here. And let's make our special sauce. It doesn't matter how much of these ingredients we're using. We just need to make them even. So I'm going to take our mayonnaise, and I'm going to go ahead. Let's go ahead and do 2 tablespoons. That was a little more than a tablespoon, but whatever. And let's do the exact same amount of Thousand Island dressing. You could just use the Thousand Island dressing, but now let's go ahead and stir this up. This is, it's not wasabi sauce, but I guess you could call it sushi sauce. Let's see if there's any other questions here while I'm stirring up. Utter Sucker says, forgot to thank me. Wow. I'm sorry, Utter Sucker. Thanks to you too. I dropped my dish. This is Speed. I dropped my dish on the ground. Should I start over or do the 5-second rule? Yeah, 5-second rule is true. I looked it up online and saw an article. There were about 95 articles that said that the 5-second rule was bullshit, and they mostly occurred in scientific magazines. But I did find one outlier who said that the 5-second rule actually was true. So you can go with that person and eat off the floor. Why do you mix with a knife? That's a good question. I guess I just grabbed whatever. That was Sarah Montes that said that. I just grabbed the first utensil I could find. Have a sip of coffee here.
Okay.
Gonna do another check-in on our cat here, roast beef. I'm actually a little worried because he is very old. I want to make sure that he's okay. Hey, buddy. Okay. You have to do little checks now and then when you have a senior cat. All right. Let's see, where were we at here? Other questions? Oh, I want to thank some of these people that have been, B-Ja9, Native King, Hallman, Kita, Holy Moly Mo, Cinnamon Jelly, Censor, Kitty Exorcism, Nikaka, Doomster 710, Cryonic Bond, Double Leopards, and Don Gugo, and Palms Are Sweaty Mom's Spaghetti. Some really cool names there. Let's see here. Planet Juke says they'll hide away right before they die. He's okay for now. Oh, talking about the cat. Okay, good. Yeah, because he's not hiding, and we did a little poke. I guess you could call that a death. It sounds awful, but to say it's a death check. I really love roast beef, but I think it's important for us all to remember that not all of us get to stay here on this planet forever. As a matter of fact, all of us don't get to stay on this planet forever unless I'm missing something. But so it's just something that we need to accept. So I'm trying to accept it. It's going to be hard, but I'm hoping that when he does pass, it's not during one of my streams. And it doesn't look like that's the case today, so that's good. We've got our sushi here. I want to put our sauce onto our sushi the way they had it in that cool picture, but this isn't going to work if I just dump it off. So we're just going to have to grab maybe a nice fine spoon like this one and kind of drizzle it over like so. This is going to be delicious, and if you're interested in storing it, I don't think there's any ingredients in here that you couldn't store for several weeks in the refrigerator. We made a little bit of a mess on the outside of this, so I'm going to try to clean that up. But if you're making these dishes at home, I'd love to see what you're coming up with. If you're on the Discord, you could do that. You could share whatever it is that you're making. But I'd say this is overall pretty good. Let's go ahead and scoop up some of these side items. And
okay.
Thank you, Prevden Red. this is our sushi. Now, obviously, it's not as professional as you would see in a restaurant, but it's going to be just as delicious. We've got our chopsticks. I have one. What happened to my other chopstick? Oh, here, yeah, you can't do much with just one chopstick. Let's try to put a nice little layout there. There we go. This is sushi for yourself. Insanely good. It's got protein in there. Thanks for whoever reminded me to put the tuna in there. That was about to be a little bit of a crisis. But let's just see how we're doing up against our goal. Yeah, I mean, so they're professional, so they've got better photographers, and they also have, I guess, you know, professional slicing tools or whatever, but I don't think we did so bad. And I think it's time to go ahead and start tasting some of this deliciousness. Bon appetit, as they say. Fire. Okay, I'd say this is pretty good. Got nice chunk of guacamole there, avocado or whatever. Rice. If you made this at home, I hope it came out a little like me. Now, I will say that I've been doing this for a long time, so if you're cooking it and it comes out looking like shit, then don't compare yourself to me. Just realize that you're a beginner, and the more that you do it, it's gonna start getting tighter. I think that person who commented about the nori needing to be cooked or softened a little bit was right, because it's very difficult to chew through. But it is sushi. It's definitely got sushi ingredients, and it's legally that's what it is. So I don't know what else to tell you. Let's just see if there's a couple more. Dolan Trom says the sushi looks great. Can I substitute the rice with my mother's favorite chicken casserole? Yeah, I would actually suggest that. Archmage Kale, I followed your sushi recipe and I gave it to my friend. Oh my God, he died. It's just a coincidence. Yeah, I mean, you must be talking about the sushi that I made on YouTube about 10 years ago. I think that I did use raw fish in that case, so I don't think those two incidents are related. But listen, I also want to make a special announcement that in August, I'm going to be doing a lot more streaming. This Sunday, actually, I'm going to be out of town, and I'm going to try to find a kitchen where I am, and I'm going to try to teach you some cooking from where I'm going to be. And then when I get back, I'm going to add a Thursday night stream where it's just going to be guitar playing and taking song requests, and also playing some games. And I have some special people that are friends from the community that I'll be announcing that we'll be playing some games together, and I want to start getting into that a little bit more, because I know that that's a big part of
Okay.
of life is playing games and cooking, because when you put something in the oven, you want to kill
Okay.
time somehow. Thanks Upside Down Ace and East Spray and Pravden Red and Dongo. Palms are sweaty, Mom Spaghetti. Okay, everybody. Well, thanks for joining us here on Henry's Kitchen, and thanks to all the people who have supported and helped, and looking very forward to August and seeing everybody and continuing my journey as a Twitch food explainer. So thanks, everyone.